drag this down?
I think you're recording now. You get the whole screen. Doesn't matter. Do the whole screen.
Okay.
Click on the green. And then go the whole screen. That's it.
Okay.
There you go. If you want to zoom in, you can zoom in. If you want to do that, just go to the top bit. I know what Keely's after. See the colours in the background? She wants to get it to match up. Zoom.
You could almost kind of like make.
How's that?
Oh, okay.
There you go. You're off. You're recording everything right now.
Okay.
Okay, so because I've never done this before, I'm going to use my cheat sheet and
Yeah.
make sure that I cover the question. So I understand that the first thing that will happen is you're going to give me an overview of your e-portfolio. And while you're doing that, you'll be demonstrating your digital technology skills. And then there's a second part to that you will tell me a little bit about how you see that applying to your teaching practice and how you might use it for your learners.
Okay. Perfect. Well, this is a little bit about me. Like, I grew up in Whitehorse, Yukon. I have a second-degree black belt in karate, so I taught karate for 7 years, and that's pretty much what pulled me into teaching and education in the first place. So I have my portfolios here. And yeah, it's a pretty basic front page and everything in here. Like, these are my Google Apps for Education. We did a project on that. This is our class group, and Brown Bears was the six other people in my group that we would do projects with and gym class with and everything like that. So now I'm just gonna open a couple portfolios that I feel have the most pull and most, I don't even know the word.
Yeah, so I think you're going to highlight the things that have been important to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So in 2015, there's a festival called Rendezvous in the Yukon that happens every February to basically get rid of the winter blues. So I ran for Rendezvous Queen, which means I put in over 100 hours of volunteer in 3 months. So we did things like we went to the old folks' home in like traditional like Klondike costumes. We helped out with Girl Guides. We sold tickets to raise money to keep all the kids' events during Rendezvous free and all that stuff. I had the opportunity to do a speech at the college for like the Ministry of Education and a bunch of dignitaries and politicians and anybody who decided to come. I did my speech on having a sense of belonging, and it included a little spiel on why I wanted to become a teacher and what was more important to me and why having a sense of belonging in the classroom is so crucial. So yeah. How it benefited me as an educator, like I ended up being an ambassador for the Yukon, so for the year after I won Second Princess, I went to different communities around the Yukon, talked about Rendezvous, and again highlighted on like the topics that I felt were most important to me. I was able to do a lot more volunteering, again with the Old Folks Home and the Girl Guides, and got to meet new people, travel, and it was a really good experience because it made me gain more confidence and leadership skills. One of my little artifacts. Thanks. And then the other artifact that I chose was karate and my love for teaching. So I just highlighted my experience as a student and about how karate became an important place for me because I always felt like I was a part of something and that I could help and do things like lead warm-ups, and it was just a place where I could grow being myself as well as helping others grow. I also highlighted my experience as a teacher. So as soon as I attained my black belt at 15, my karate instructor started giving me way more responsibilities. And I ended up actually teaching the 12-week beginner course to both children's age 8 to 12 and the adults for about 6 years. So that was my responsibility every September and every January. So I was in charge of like making lesson plans, like making sure all the criteria was completed by the end of that 12 weeks. And it was a very good experience for me because you'd have a really strong group of kids that would come in and they'd fly through my material like nobody's business. And then you'd have like other groups of kids which needed a little bit more time on the basic things. So it really like broadened I guess my experience as a teacher to see that. And even in classes, like I never realized the age difference that even like 10 months can make between two kids or between like boys and girls until I had this experience, and it was really interesting.
So you came into teacher ed then with a pretty good foundation of teaching skills.
Yeah.
And have you found similarities, like what we're teaching you about how to be a teacher here and what you learned through your karate practice about how to be a teacher there?
Yeah, 100%. Like when we talk about like the use of like language and voice and how to like walk in with confidence and things in that way. Whereas when I started teaching, I was kind of like, but you can't be like that because then the kids don't know what they're doing. Whereas like we're being like taught and told that like when you walk in, present yourself, like be confident, and your students will follow around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, and there were a lot of curricular connections between karate and teaching. Just highlight like one, like educators are roles who act ethically and honestly. So in our karate class, like after each class finished, we did a little, I don't know what you would call it in English, but it was called the dojo gun in Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the instructors in the front row would say like seek perfection of character, and then the class would repeat after, and we would go into more depth about what that means as being a human being, not only inside the dojo but outside on like the schoolyard or in your work life and everything like that. So I think things like that are really important. Yeah.
So, I'm just checking my questions here, what else I'm supposed to ask you. Maybe you could speak a little bit about how you would apply your digital skills, creating a portfolio to either your work as a future teacher or with the kids you're working with. Like, is that a tool that is useful?
Okay. Yeah, I think it is definitely a tool. Like technology has grown so much over the last few years. I remember like in elementary school, like just playing simple math games where you got to go on an adventure and using like Google Apps for Education. So, we want to find out on a topic. Let's go on Pinterest. Let's see what we can find for arts and crafts on here. Or if anyone has any like Halloween ideas, like there's so many things we can do with that. And in our like technology class, we were actually able to go into a classroom and help a teacher incorporate technology in our class. So I chose to go into the resource room. So as you know, that's for kids that are struggling in a certain subject.
Yeah.
And the teacher that we were working under, she had actually just gotten a new group of students the week prior, and she was actually unable to get a good writing sample from them. So what me and Gavin did is we actually made dice with QR codes on them so they could scan them to use them for writing prompts. So on each dice we have like a GIF. So one of them was like a dog swimming above the bathtub, and another one was like a knight holding a sword up to a dragon. And we ended up getting about half a page to a page from each of the students there, and that amazed me, and the teacher was really impressed at how well that elicited like more creativity and how her students did it. So I think it's really important because it definitely gets kids more engaged.
Interesting. So is there anything else you wanted to show me in your portfolio? Anything you're particularly proud of? It's a great photo, by the way.
Oh, thank you. The other one is probably just my lesson plan for literacy that I made. The Little Red Hen was one of my favorite books when I was little.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I incorporated like a drama component to the English component as well. And I'll show you a little video of my class doing my reader's theater up at the front.
See that.
This is my class. They are going to present to you the Little Red Hen. Take it away, narrators.
Once upon a time, a pig, a duck, a cat, and a little red hen all lived together in a cozy little house on a pretty green hill. All day long, the pig wallowed happily in its juicy mud puddle, the duck swam happily on her little pond, and the cat slept happily in the sun. This left all the work of the house for the little red hen to do. One day, as the little red hen was scratching about the yard looking for a nice piece for her dinner, she came upon a grain of wheat. It gave her an idea.
Who will plant this grain of wheat?
The hen asked the pig, the duck, and the cat.
Not I. Not I.
Quack, said the duck.
Not I.
Said the cat.
That was one of my favorite stories too when I was a kid.
This is my
It just brought back
class.
all sorts of
They are
memories.
going
I never heard that story until you did it. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that right? I just wanted to, I've forgotten your name, sorry.
Jillian.
I want to give Jillian an opportunity to ask any questions she has about your portfolio.
What questions do I have? What did the digital badges do for you when you got all of them? Has it helped you through your Google Drive? Has it helped you
Oh,
play with
Google
YouTube?
Drive?
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Yeah, I felt the same.
Like I had no idea I could do so much with Google Drive and like working on group projects. You didn't have to sit and both be around one computer.
Yeah.
You can both edit a document. Like Google Drive was probably the most helpful thing I've learned in technology by far.
Do you think that you would use that in a classroom or maybe for older
For
students?
older
Yeah.
students, definitely. Like
Yeah.
intermediate wing, I
Yeah.
don't think I would do it necessarily for
Yeah.
primary, just
Yeah.
because I don't think they have. They might nowadays, because
But even some things were tricky for us to do, so I
yeah.
think, yeah.
So I don't use Google Drive, I use Google Docs. Is Google Drive similar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Do you want me to open
I
it?
would love to see it because as a professor, one of the things I have to do is publish, and so I'm co-writing with other authors, and
Yeah.
I've just found using Google Docs recently is
Yeah.
really, really
yeah,
helpful.
Google Docs is something in Google Drive, so there's a bunch of other
Oh, okay.
so
So like the unit plan for PE that I did with 2 other students, like we can both, like when we open it, like they can also open the same document and everyone can edit it at the same time,
Uh-huh.
and save it, add pages to it. There's so many different things that you can do. You can like, it's easier to share, so as opposed to like emailing something for somebody to edit, if you share it on Google Drive, they can edit it right away and you'll see the changes that they make. There like isn't probably way more to learn about it than I know, but
So have you found it makes group work more enjoyable? I often hear from students, I hate group work, why do you always give group assignments?
it definitely makes it easier, especially because like I'm working as well as going to school, so for me to actually find a time that's not after 9 o'clock to get together with people, whereas like I can do my part on my own time, they can do their part, so it's definitely a lot easier in that aspect.
Well, thank you. So I'm going to learn more about Google Drive. So it's 5 after 10, so I think we need to move on now to Jillian.
yes.